From a spleen fighting a snake to save her cub to a Jack Russel scaring off a pack of lion cubs, check out the brave animals caught on camera today. The rivalry between dogs and cats is not new, and usually we expect that it is the canine which imposes itself in front of the feline. It is necessary to believe that it is not always the case. The proof is in this video sequence, probably filmed by the owner of these two pets. Indeed, as we can see, this kitten, only a few days old, was in the same room as a Rottweiler, a breed of dog sometimes considered as potentially dangerous. One could naturally think that the dog would only eat the little ball of hair, but not at all. Against all odds, it is the kitten who is probably the law. He even managed to make the big doggy move back for several seconds. Of course, the dog tried to regain the upper hand with an unstoppable technique: barking. Despite this, the cat was not impressed. Far from it. He even raised his tail before getting into a defensive position. At one point, the kitten went as far as jumping on his opponent, who apparently was not very reassured. However, if the little feline is certainly not afraid of anything, the dog was actually not in an aggressive mood, because even if the Rottweiler was tied up, he could very well have made the kitten his lunch. We can imagine that the two protagonists knew each other in advance. Nevertheless, we must admit that the kitten was at least brave to dare to face such an imposing animal. It is well known that cats and snakes do not always get along. Unfortunately, it happens quite often that their paths cross. And in this case, the least we can say is that the two animals will not be long in launching a fight without mercy. Thus, in an amateur video published on YouTube in March 2017, we can see a cat and a snake facing each other, patiently waiting for the other to move before attacking, a bit like in a Western movie. The suspense was then at its peak, especially since the snake remained unmoved for a long time, while the cat, agile and fast, took advantage of its hunting skills to take the lead. However, after having received several paw blows, the reptile finally decided to counterattack, pushing the feline to jump out of terror. Nevertheless, the cat, obviously very brave, was not about to give up. On the contrary, yes, as surprising as it may seem, the animal, usually gentle and kind, kept on hitting to such an extent that the snake was only trying to flee. Unfortunately for him, the cat quickly caught up with him without mercy. It was then that he attacked the head of the reptile before biting it ferociously. However, the latter had more than one trick up his sleeve. It thus managed to escape the fangs of the feline, at least for a moment, since he found himself again in the cat's mouth. And this time, we doubt that he could have escaped unscathed. The guards of the Kruger National Park in South Africa witnessed an unforgettable scene, and not without reason. They witnessed a confrontation between a pack of lionesses and a small rattle, barely bigger than a cat. Of course, it would be natural to think at first that the poor animal had no chance against such predators. However, the rattle is not as easy as prey as one might think. Besides, facing the hungry lionesses did not intend to let himself be done, even if he was in a particularly delicate situation. Thus, to defend himself, his only means was to emit threatening sounds to try to frighten his opponents. His aggressive temperament was thus supposed to sow doubt in the minds of the felines so that he could gain enough time to flee, because obviously his goal was not to defeat a pack of lionesses. Unfortunately for this rattle, his technique obviously did not work. In the last few seconds of the video, the predatory lionesses actually chased their prey behind some trees before disappearing. The fate of this valiant rattle will remain a mystery, but rest assured, it is very likely that the animal was able to survive this attack. Indeed, behind this almost cute little mammal hides a terror capable of facing almost any predator. Thanks to its very thick skin and its intelligence out of the common, we imagine that this rattle could have very well gone out alive. At least, we hope so. At the Jalana Safari Park, located in Jaipur, India, visitors immortalized a very unusual scene. While they were on board the safari jeeps, they crossed the path of a stray dog who, probably exhausted by a long walk, decided to lay down peacefully in the middle of the road. But this little nap will be of very short duration. The reason? Well, a leopard suddenly jumped out of a bush to attack him by surprise. Without doubt, terrorized, the dog woke up with a start and started to bark bravely at the predator. It is certain that the predator did not expect the dog to stand up to him. Thus, the leopard stopped its attack by remaining motionless in front of the dog for several tens of seconds. After that, the wild animal preferred to leave calmly in the forest. Finally, more fear than harm for the dog, who got out of it simply with a small fright. However, according to a forest official, the leopard left quietly because there were visitors in the jeeps behind the dog. Otherwise, it is unlikely that the dog would have survived the encounter. Nevertheless, one must admit that the dog showed great courage. As we know, the rhinoceros is not a friendly animal. This monster can weigh up to 3 tons, and in case of an attack, it can cause fatal injuries to any animal that ventures to confront it or that would represent a threat to it. As a general rule, it is better not to approach a rhino too closely. This dog was totally unaware of this, as he went so far as to chase a group of rhinos. No, you're not dreaming. The dachshund-like dog did not hesitate for a second to chase these huge mammals. Faced with such a situation, the rhinos probably had no choice but to flee. This will not last very long, because one of them, inevitably annoyed by the domestic animal, decided to simulate a charge to intimidate him. But nothing works. The dog, determined to make his law, continued to chase the rhinos, before finally being satisfied to turn around them. We must admit that this is a unique video sequence. It is not without reason that this dog has become a meme symbolizing courage. The maternal instinct is observed in many species, and the rat is no exception to the rule. This video sequence is a perfect example, filmed by an internet user named Rojas Montesinos Evie. This one reveals a snake which intended to make only a mouthful of a baby rat. But it was without counting on the devotion of the mother. As we can see, this last one attacked the reptile to try to make him release the small that he held firmly in his mouth. Extremely determined, she threw herself on the predator, grabbed his tail before biting him vigorously. Moreover, the violence of the offensive was such that the snake ended up forfeiting its snack. This did not fail to surprise the videographer, who said in the description of the sequence, "I witnessed an incredible act of love from a mother." And it must be said that it is not wrong, because the rat has indeed succeeded in saving her baby. However, she did not stop there. The female even bravely pursued the snack until it was far enough away to no longer represent a threat. As for her cub, it remained motionless for a few seconds until its mother came back as a conqueror. Protective until the end, the mother then took him with her towards the thickets. But then, could he at least survive the reptile's attack? Was he a venomous specimen? We don't know. We hope in any case that the baby did not suffer any bite, and that the desperate efforts of this mother to save him were rewarded with a happy ending. In a video posted on YouTube, a rooster put the reputation of this horse to shame. Locked together in a pen, these two animals launched for a mysterious reason in an almost endless chase. But surprisingly, it was the bird that was chasing the mammal. Indeed, the horse was trying to escape from the rooster, while the latter was determined to catch up with it, or even to attack it, who knows. Obviously frightened, the horse decided to take shelter at the end of the pen. Unfortunately for him, his technique was a failure, as the bird was still determined to chase him. Finally, the horse, tired of running around, stopped abruptly before sending a violent stampede at the rooster. After that, one would expect the bird to give up its pursuit, but not at all. What is really curious, this is an unusual and hilarious video sequence. Here is now a cat that has something to admire. thanks to its extraordinary courage, and for a good reason. The feline spotted a fish near a crocodile which fortunately was sleeping deeply. Taking advantage of the opportunity, the cat slowly approached the reptile to try to steal its lunch. At any moment, the feline could wake up the crocodile and end up in the stomach of the wild animal, especially since the reptile, whose weight is around 350 kilos, can attack at a phenomenal speed in water as well as on land. Despite the imminent danger, the cat was not about to leave without the fish, and to everyone's surprise, the cat managed to steal the crocodile's meal without the crocodile noticing. Not sure if this is an experience to be repeated. This Jack Russel puppy, apparently cute and frail, is actually as aggressive as a lion cub. The proof is in this incredible video sequence. We can indeed see the puppy defending his piece of meat against 3 hungry cubs who will try to take it in turn. Thus, one of them ventured to approach too close to the food when the dog fiercely attacked him. Frightened, he then took cover behind a tree, waiting for the opportunity to taste the meat. Then, the second cub also tried his luck, but he suffered the same fate as his fellow cub. Convinced that he had to deal with a stronger opponent, he simply walked away from the dog. This was certainly very prudent. Finally, the only cub that had not yet dared to steal the food from the puppy took his courage in both hands. But he didn't dare, of course. In the last seconds of this astonishing video sequence, we can once again witness the puppy's enormous aggressiveness when the first cub got too close to the precious food. For sure, this Jack Russel knows how to defend himself. A little French bulldog named Jules has become a real star in the United States, thanks to her boundless courage. Indeed, when the dog saw bears in the property of her master, she did not hesitate to rush towards them, risking her life. The little French bulldog even tried to bite the intruders several times. Jules first attacked the 2 youngsters near the gate before attacking their mother on the terrace. Except that this one had to weigh nearly 45 kilograms, that is to say 5 times more than the small dog. What does it matter? The French bulldog was ready to do anything to defend the house of his owners, like a real watchdog. Moreover, faced with the aggressiveness of the dog, the bears, who were looking for food, were forced to flee. One of them even had to jump awkwardly through the fence to save himself. We imagine that the owners of this French bulldog, David Hernandez, can be proud of his pet. Now it's your turn to tell us in the comments which of these animals you think is the bravest. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, to subscribe to the channel, and to activate the bell to receive all the notifications and not miss anything of our next videos. See you tomorrow, same time, same channel for a new video.